What's the worst piece of financial advice somebody has given you? My cousin bought a camper, went camping once, and then decided camping wasn't for them. Rather than selling it, they decided to just stop making the payments and let the bank come and get it. Which, eventually, they did. When my mom said that she will hold my money for me as a kid, just get it at Rent-A-Center. My aunt took me to a car dealership when I was looking to buy my own first car. I was looking at the clunkers I could afford, but she said I should be looking at the new cars. She said the total price doesn't matter because you make monthly payments. I suddenly understood too well why she had always been so financially unstable. So when I was 24, I was financially struggling. I had a job that worked me a lot of hours, but only paid me $10 an hour. My parents talked me into buying a brand new 2004 Honda Civic. The pre-interest price tag on it was about $25. A few weeks after getting it, my hours got regulated, and it took one entire paycheck to make the monthly note on it I could not afford the insurance on it. I very quickly realized my parents were bad at money. A relative tried to recruit me into Amway. He wound up stuck with a garage full of their products. My father would tell me to max my credit card on a new car, and if they asked for payments, just say FM. What are they going to do? My father is several levels of debt hell deep that he's trying to get out of now, but he's at least trying. Yeah, even if they've recently robbed you, you should still lend them the $500 they need to move to another city. They're your family after all. Dad, I don't even know how Mom married your dumbass. Take out a $401k loan to build a pool. It will raise the value of your house. My Phil, when I mention our retirement plan, I never contribute to my retirement account. Money now is always better than money later. I needed to have a conversation with my husband how we would not be supporting his mom and dad and their insane spending when they have no retirement plan and make huge financial mistakes on a weekly basis. Good news is they both make good money. I got $90 and my 11-year-old son told me I should buy $90 worth of kazoos. No real plan past that. Spend it quickly or it'll get stolen. Coming from someone with a history of losing and blowing their money. That an emergency fund wasn't necessary when you can always get a payday loan or use your credit card. He wasn't joking. Spend whatever is in your bank account the day before payday. You obviously don't need it. One of my uncles once told me that I never really had to pay my phone bill. He suggested that I simply jump to another carrier and let the first company cut you off. His life has turned out exactly as you'd imagine. Hold on to those French francs, they will be worth a lot someday. I'm not holding my breath. Once you cut up the credit card, you don't have to pay it. My cousin is not doing so hot. I'm pretty sure there are warrants out for his arrest in several states. Just get another credit card. My friend who hasn't worked in 3 years and is currently just vibing with his new credit cards he somehow got approved for. Put it all on black. 1976 San Francisco. Keep renting. No one will ever pay $35. For a 2-bedroom house and garage with a sweeping view of the East Bay. Added later. I went back to visit the old neighborhood a few years ago. Those $35. Stucco homes up many flights of steps perched on the top of Potrero Hill were now all gentrified, remodeled, gated, and asking $1 million, and that was 5 years ago. Don't take a raise if it puts you into the next tax bracket. And pay the minimum on your credit card to establish good credit. As others have pointed out, sometimes getting into another bracket or other threshold may affect other benefits, such as food stamps and other government non-governmental assistance. Mileage may vary. I was specifically talking about taxes. What's something you did as a kid or teenager that still embarrasses you to this day? During a choir concert I had a solo, and my voice cracked terribly on the very last high note to end the song. All I heard was faint ahs and one dude dying of laughter. I wanted to see a crush of mine. I was 12-13. So I started going around the block walking back and forth in hopes for a chance encounter. Turns out he is at his neighbor across the street, on the porch, and sees me walking in front of his house 20 times in 1 hour. Yeah, this is the same guy I once asked what a handjob was. I read it in a book and had no idea this was before the web. I forgot to wear pants in kindergarten one day winter time. Put on my long johns then snow pants. Everyone complimented my pants, but I knew they were lying. Bastards. Was in Sunday school. Asked to describe Jesus in one word. Promiscuous thought it had a similar meaning to mysterious. Promiscuous girl had also just come out, so every other 13-year-old knew what it meant. This entire year, I did a dance routine called the 90-second workout for the talent show in 5th grade to Backstreet Boys whilst dressed in a soccer outfit. I am a straight male. Oh man. How do I say this? My friend was born without half an arm. I used to steal her prosthetic and hide it places. WTF was wrong with me? We're reading some book about an autistic kid and a dog he had. And my teacher called on me to do some reading out loud because she knew I wasn't paying attention to the discussion. And when I read the word retarded, my voice for some reason choked up and let out the awkwardest half chuckle, half gasp. Then I broke out in laughter in front of the class. Fuck me. After one of the good touch bad touch demonstrations with the dolls, they asked if we would let our babysitter touch us. For $20.0 I said no, but I would for $1,000. They called my parents and told them. My brother, who is a darker than usual Hispanic, watched Roots in class when he was in middle school. And he comes home crying to my mom saying, I don't want to be a slave. We still bring it up, it still always gets a laugh. I once read a shitty Final Fantasy XI fanfic in front of my speech class during my sophomore year of high school. Why? My sister walked in on me doing an interpretive dance to Seal's Kiss from a Rose on the Grey. I thought the lyric was grave, so there was also a prop involved, a bench turned vertical with a fake flower in front of it. In middle school I wanted to be a rapper. I gave myself the name Lil Diva. I wrote god-awful raps for a bunch of class projects. It pains me to recall those years. I used to masturbate in my car seat. I don't even know how it started, but it continued until my mom told me it was a private thing and shouldn't be done. Let's see. I obsessed over Eminem so much that it was even mentioned in the yearbook that I loved him. I had an Eminem t-shirt which I used to think made me pretty cool. And I did several presentations about Eminem, one in which I pretended that I was him and rapped in front of my whole class. Yeah, I was a short, awkward girl. Now, I just think he's okay and don't really listen to his music. I also took my Harry Potter obsession to an extreme degree. I took upskirt shots of women in GTA San Andreas because I thought that's what CJ would have wanted. I didn't realize till 2 years later that those pictures saved to a file in the computer. Edit, I don't have the files anymore. One time when I was 14 I tried to masturbate in the car on the way to grandma's house. My mom walked in on me and my GF redressing ourselves after sex. We were 15 at the time. She said no words. When I went downstairs after, all I could say was, I don't know what you thought we were doing, but it wasn't sex. Okay. 1. My sister had a stuffed white wolf, and I was playing vet and drew a butthole on it and colored it red. WTF? 2. I recorded me and my friend dancing to Britney Spears' Slave for You when we were 8 or 9. It still exists on VHS in my house somewhere. 3. Peed myself when I was line leader in 3rd grade. What's the worst example of poor financial choices you've witnessed? My landlord bought an expensive boat and then tried raising my rent the next day. Only had it for 1 summer because they couldn't afford it. Had an employee talk about selling his car because his commission check wasn't supporting him and his bills. 1 hour later comes back into the office bragging about the new gaming and home entertainment system he bought. My aunt has declared bankruptcy twice in her life due to never having learned her lessons. Recently her husband's mother died and willed them a fully paid for house. So they do what any rational person would do and mortgage the house so they can renovate it. She just lost her job again and now they are in danger of losing the house. Brilliant. Lent my friend $100 to pay rent. 2 days later, she makes a Facebook post about all the cool items she's picked up at a flea market specializing in rock and roll paraphernalia. She did not make rent. One time I saw a guy go through $500 in $20 scratch-off lottery tickets at a cigarette store. Dropped $500, won back nothing. He looked at the woman behind the counter, said, "Well, there goes the rent money," and walked out the door. I was shocked and appalled. What are all these socks doing in the garbage can in your bathroom? Oh. Ha ha. I bought beer instead of toilet paper last week. An actual conversation I had with a guy I know. Girl I knew couldn't afford to maintain her 150k mile plus car, but bought 3 purebred dogs from breeders over 3 years. My brother-in-law. After the divorce they wanted to sell the house. They sold it to someone that buys any house for 95k. Houses in that neighborhood go for 190k to 100k. The guy that brought the house painted the inside and put in new carpeting. He listed it for 195k and sold it for 187k in less than a week. Small rancher not in bad shape. He probably put less than 1k into it. Nice profit. I had a friend gain access to $70,000 from a childhood accident, rent a trailer in a trailer park, buy a whole shitload of weed, get robbed twice, and run out money all within a year. My friend lived off of loans for college. He got the disbursement which was to last him 12 weeks. Spent all of it in 1 week on things like a new TV, tabletops games he never played, video games that he never played, tubs and tubs of ice cream. After the money ran out he would attempt to get the group to help him pay for food. Someone who regularly begged people to pay for their restaurant meals after the bill came bought a brand new MacBook Pro and then went on a 3-month trip to Japan to try to find work. Mom got a decent inheritance from my grandma passing, but instead of paying off her house on which she's almost been foreclosed, or fixing her car which is now gone because the head gasket blew, she decided to put in a deck, redo her kitchen, and buy some weird cabin out in the middle of nowhere, which aren't necessarily terrible ideas. But why she didn't choose to service her insane debts before making upgrades doesn't make any sense to me. I was a car salesman. I witnessed a lot of poor people buying cars that they could never afford, but felt they needed because it gave them some kind of status. She signed a 24.995-year car loan. Not long after, she ran back to her ex-husband because she couldn't afford rent. He said no, which is coincidentally one of the best financial choices I've witnessed. My mom who bought a desktop in 2001 for $800 and it's still not paid off. She now owes $1,300 for a computer that doesn't even work, and I'm the asshole that tells everyone. My ex-wife would open a credit card and do a balance transfer to pay off another credit card, then max the old credit card again. She did this over and over without my knowledge, eventually racking up about $15,000 before I found out.